Hey everybody, I'm Cyrus Ragnos. We're going to be playing some more Civ 5, so let's just jump on in. This is part number 7. And I'll give you a heads up there, it's 12 total parts. I mean, this is a 2-hour session that this map is 2 hours long of just me against Rome. So let's just jump on in and keep going. So let's see. I'm gonna wait for a second here. I'm gonna wait for my video to actually load up here, so I can commentate what we're doing. So we're back. We're back here. We gotta let it render. So we're just gonna continue going on, teching up our civilization along with all of our cities. So gonna go with Chicago needs some work. We're gonna go with a forge in Chicago. And Caesar's like, I see you amassing armies near my empire. Blah blah blah. Sure, fine, whatever. We don't care because, yes, at one point we will attack you and destroy you. So, unfortunately, I got a unit killed here. I think it was like a worker or a workboat of some kind or something that wasn't paying attention. So, that serves me right? You know? And then we're going to go with Stock Exchange up there in New York. And, again, tell my dudes just to kind of hold off. The Louvre just finished in Washington, so heck yes. Unfortunately, Washington is starving, so their amount of food that they are consuming every turn is more than what they need or what they have. So Washington, the only thing it can do is the stock exchange. So I'm like, you got to be joking, man. I cannot allow Washington to starve out because it's my capital city, and if you run out of food completely, you're screwed. Now, I had a dude there, an artist, and I totally clicked on Golden Age, and I didn't want to, but whatever. We're providing gold to the city-states. You're gonna see me doing that a lot here in the next several episodes because of the fact that we desperately need the resources and they're just them being our allies. We desperately need them to be on our side. Once we go up against Rome, I was iffy on whether or not I was going to actually do a pure combat. Well, let's see. What am I trying to say here? Victory type is domination. There we go. If you're going to just dominate the enemy. And again, I had a freaking artist and I told him the Golden Age. I was like, and later on, I was like, I can't believe I did that. So, and notice your relationship with Dublin. Well, it's nice to leave their protection to us. I'm like, you know what, screw you, dude. I don't care if they're your allies. You know, if you're protecting them, I just want to be their friend. That way, I get the benefits of having their resources coming to me. So, we're going to continue going in Liberty. We're going to go with, I believe, Republic. I finally choose. I'm deciding on which ones I'm going to go with. So I always do freedom and rationalism, or my last two social policies that I always do. And it's just because the benefits of doing those two are very, very nice. So, come on. There we go. Come on. Just pick one, dude. There we go. So we decided to go with Republic under freedom. Dynamite just finished up, so we're good to go on Dynamite. We have a lot of other stuff that we need to do. Luckily, Washington is no longer starving, so thank goodness. Just not fun. I've got two advisors there telling me to do radio, and I think I go with railroad instead, just because I'm like, railroad will help out my food production, and food to all my cities that have trading routes between them. So, I'm still looking for food at this point, and just to see, you know, let's keep that up. So food, granary in Chicago. Philadelphia, we're going to go, I think I choose Stock Exchange because, you know, plus 30% gold in the city. Hospital in Atlanta because that increases food production as well. Civilian captured by the barbarians, freaking barbarians. You will see in the next, they take a lot of my civilians, and there's really not much I can do about it. So not until a little bit later. So we're back to Chicago, and we're going to go, there's really not much I can do except for I can start buying stuff to get it done because I'm like, oh my gosh. So decided to go with the factory, there's nothing really for me left to do in Washington. I can either build units or I can tell it to do either wealth or research. It says I need to do workers, so because my workers are being captured. So currency exchange up in Philadelphia. Just create another worker in Washington. Worker. So worker in New York, worker in Washington. We're getting these workers. We're spawning them just because. Now Dublin, because they're a warring city-state. If you're allies with them, they will constantly give you units and throw. So I always just gift the unit back to them because it'll keep my my liking level with them. So doing a workboat up by New York, I've got these archers and these crossbowmen down there by that place right there. So I'm like, what do I do? Where should I go? And I decided to go with a fighter just because I don't have any air support as of right now, you know. And it's really telling me I should build workboats and fighters and ironclads. And so I'm like, So railroad just finished, and I'm telling my dudes, my workboats, just go after all that fish and go. I'm gonna keep going with all my other stuff in my cities. That I can't remember what I just clicked on, but let's see, choosing production, seaport in Philadelphia. We're just getting all that other stuff going. Now, the downside of having all these cities and going with all of these tech ups, with all these special buildings inside the cities, is right now my gold intake per turn is 171 gold per turn that I earn plus. By making all these buildings, you have to maintain the buildings inside the city, and that loses your gold. And I think I get down to like maybe 60 some gold here in the future, and it's crazy. And I was like, oh crap, am I going to go into a deficit? And luckily I don't. So we're going to go with a university in Boston. And, you know, I still have a much bigger fighting force than Rome still. I mean, I'm getting great engineers and all sorts of stuff. I have a fighter at Washington now. And so I'm telling him to just go out and attack. And luckily I took out those crossbowmen. So, just because, I mean, crossbowmen, what are they going to do against a freaking fighter jet that's doing a strafing run against them? So, we're going to go with the hospital in New York, and we're going to go with... What are we doing? Circus in Atlanta. So, let me just... I got to check something. There we go. Alright. So, our fighter is out of range now, and so luckily you can tell him to move to a different city. So I just told him to move to Seattle. That uses up his turn, but you know what, that's fine. So Chicago needs something to go with. We're going to go with Bank because that increases our gold. We're still at plus 165, so still it hasn't dropped down too much. Now my dudes, ranged attack, they're doing some damage, but they're also getting attacked as well because the barbarians, they have infantrymen, and of course they can shoot at the plane. So Harbor, we're buying everything we can up at Atlanta because it's far behind. It's farther behind than I would like, to be perfectly honest with you. So again, I'm telling my dudes to attack, and I'm doing some damage, some pretty decent damage. Dogfighting gives you better increase when you're doing air sweeps. So I just click on that one, you know, just because it seems like it's a better one. But Washington, again, they're still kind of out of range, so I'm telling him to rebase over by Boston just to get ready for me to fight Rome. It's telling me to just continue building fighters, so I'm like, you know what, fine, I'll continue building fighters. But they're here, I'm like, okay, but I still need to build my other buildings, so museum. World's busiest people, me, I'm at 47.29, and Rome was at like 17. So I'm going crazy on the amount of stuff I'm doing per turn. So, just a lot of stuff going on in my entire civilization here. So again, I'm just telling them to keep, and just those freaking infantry just would not die. I mean, they would not die. Got another social point, so I put the next one in. Aqueduct down there in Seattle, or I can't remember what city that was. It's not Seattle. I think Atlanta or something. No, not Atlanta. I'm looking at Atlanta. Radio just finished. There's Seattle. Washington just got another plane, so I'm doing it against armored units. I got a bunch of stuff over on the right-hand side I haven't touched yet because I got all these fighters that are spawning. You know, somebody said, hey, thanks for getting a silk. I'm going with refrigeration next, and broadcast tower in Philadelphia. Still got one more turn there in Boston, one turn in New York. Nothing going on in Washington yet. Still have 17 turns in Seattle. And it was taking forever to build that freaking set of infantrymen. I think it started out like 50-some moves, and it's down to 17. It's just taking forever. That dude's just telling me that my fighter plane is getting really low on health, so I got to tell him to heal up. Boston and Washington are finished with their planes. I'm just telling them to do nothing. I'm just not telling them to do anything. But in any case, I got to end this episode off. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one, Part 8. Like I said, we're going to Part 12. So it's going to get more exciting. I'm not lying here. In the next several episodes, we'll see more action. And unfortunately, when I turned off the wartime cinematic, when you battle someone, combat cinematics, when it goes too fast, basically when I right-click on an enemy unit to tell it to die, basically it'll just do some damage on my side, and if I win, my dudes will just replace the dudes that are in that tile. Whereas classic combat animation is you see the dudes like drive up or walk up, and you see them like attacking each other and everything. But I turned that off because I was hoping to make the gameplay faster. But yeah. Unfortunately, there's no way to turn that on mid-game, at least not that I've seen. I have not seen the ability to turn that on mid-game. So, unfortunately, as we go forward, we're not going to be seeing some really cool animations with the destruction or whatever. Because I'll give you a tip right now, a little spoiler. I get the atom bomb. I get like 6 of them, and I just start nuking the living crap out of Rome. So, there's a little spoiler for you. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Have yourself a good day.